Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Chi-Chi. In the dark forest, the sound of scoffing continued. This sound makes the scalp numb. Occasionally, there is a large leaf falling, making the surrounding atmosphere even more strange. And in such a weird atmosphere, a giant snake more than 5 meters long was standing with a man with an indifferent expression. Unfortunately, this snake is the protagonist, and this human performance can only be said. His mental quality is indeed very good. However, under this situation, Yi-Bei did not immediately slurp at the man, because the sudden sound of the system resounding in Yi-Bei's mind directly made him stare. Given that the host has successfully swallowed 4 humans, open the hidden mission, the system will be further upgraded. Yes, the news from the system came really unexpectedly. At this moment, Yi-Bei even feels caught off guard. Can the system be upgraded? What conditions does it meet to be able to upgrade? It was totally unexpected. Moreover, the system upgrade is still fully automatic. Yi-Bei was shocked, and the system was already in the automatic upgrade state. A scorching warm current flows quickly in his body. A large amount of information poured into his head. At this moment, Yi-Bei felt as if he had learned endless knowledge, but that knowledge was hidden deep in his mind and could not be used. This feeling was extremely strange. Standing in front of Yi-Bei, the last surviving white man was very courageous. Seeing Yi-Bei didn't move, he actually knew to speak, and his tone was strangely calm. "My name is Alec. I don't know a lot. That bead can sell for a good price. So we acted. In order to find this bead, we have been on this island for almost 3 months. Later past, some accidentally learned that they were swallowed by blood pythons, so they launched an attack on these pythons. In addition, this island is an uninhabited island. A long time ago, it existed in a large biological research institute. A special potion later leaked, causing a lot of biological mutations, so each of us prepared a lot of weapons. However, before coming here, our hunter team was hired by a large mercenary organization in the United States in order to prevent accidents. We have established a signal transmission base station on the island, and we will report safety through the base station every 24 hours. Once we have an accident, in order to obtain beads, there will be more commissions next soldiers land on the island. You killed me today. It is estimated that more humans will come over soon, and weapons will definitely be upgraded, and even in the end, I am 100% sure that the island is extremely dangerous and cannot get beads. This island will definitely be blasted into dust by weapons, and everything will sink in the depths of the sea. How about this? How about we make a deal?" The white man is very calm. When speaking, his eyes were still looking straight into Yi-Bei's eyes. At this time, the system was automatically completing the upgrade, but the white man's words were still very clearly transmitted to Yi-Bei's ears. Moreover, Yi-Bei can still communicate with the white man without obstacles. Transaction? Yi-Bei is not an idiot. He killed 4 people directly just now. If he let the last one leave, and he didn't bring anyone to retaliate, that would be the hell. However, Yi-Bei was not in a hurry to eat Alec, because this guy had already revealed a lot of information just now. He felt he could get more from this guy's mouth. Deal? It's kind of interesting, tell me, how do we make a deal? Yi-Bei's tone was calm, but when speaking, he deliberately strengthened his murderous aura. The white body trembled slightly, and finally he stubbornly held it on. "Let me go. I will keep a secret for you, and go back and declare that the mission has failed, and you will never set foot on this island again." Any threat? He said this very seriously. Alec rarely speaks. If he had been told before that it was a snake that forced him to speak, he would definitely think it was a dream. But now, I was actually talking to a snake, and deep in my heart, Alec could be sure that the snake's IQ was not lower than myself. I had already made up my mind. Once I left this island, first the news of this snake will be published in no time. This news, he thinks, is worth millions of dollars. Let's talk about this kind of little things slowly. You said this is an island, and it has been a long time. Then there must be an exact data and a map for this island, and I want all the information. Put it on the ground. The cold light in his eyes kept on, and Yibei's words didn't have any room for discussion at all. He used a commanding tone. And Alec didn't dare to have the slightest opinion. Carefully removed the package from the back. His eyes swept across a grenade, and there was a gleam of light. But after feeling Yibei's boiling, killing intent, Alec looked away from the grenade and found a hand-drawn drawing from it. The map of the island is here. When speaking, gently put the blueprint on the ground, for fear that any abnormal actions would attract Yibei's murderous intent. But when Alec's drawing was taken out, Yibei moved and his mouth suddenly opened. Laugh. Golyulu. Sorry, I know your thoughts very well. I will accept the drawings. After swallowing Alec, 5,000 evolution points were credited, Yibei said with satisfaction. His eyes were cold, and he had eaten 4 humans in a row, and there would be no obstacles if one came again. But immediately after Yibei finished saying this, his body shook slightly. The system upgrade is complete. A lot of new information made Yibei tremble with excitement. It looks like it's developed this time. Unconsciously, he mumbled to himself. Islands, deep in the forest. After easily swallowing 5 humans, Yibei's evolution points have reached 75,000. Only 25,000 points are needed to complete the 4th stage of evolution of the blood python. But at this time, Yibei's thoughts were not put on evolution at all, but all in the system in his mind. After the system has automatically evolved, new things are unfolding in front of Yibei's eyes. And about Yibei's physical fitness, it is a detailed summary. Infinite evolution system. Name, Yibei. Primary species, blood python. Age, under 1 year old. Because of evolution, it has a size and strength several times that of an adult python. Lifespan, 50 years. Evolution points for the 4th stage of blood python, 75,000/100000. Level, LV1. After leveling up, genes can be changed to move towards a higher level of snake-like species. Language, snake language, regional animal language. Ability, fangs. Apostle, 1. Territory, none. Length, 5 meters. Average body diameter, 35 cm. Body resistance to stress, level 3. Can withstand sharp blade attacks, and the skin can resist the impact of ordinary firearms bullets. Speed, 10 meters/s. Strength, 5t. It can easily lift the weight of 5t. Task, complete LV. Level 1. The 4th stage of evolution, expand the territory. After the evolution is completed, you will become a Titan Python. The territory is planned to be the entire island. This time, the fluorescent screen information panel that appeared in front of Yibei's eyes not only has many more attributes, but even at the beginning, some vague concepts have become clearer, such as the 4th evolutionary stage of the 1st level. Anyway, Yibei understood this very thoroughly anyway. However, in addition to this, the system also directly gives a division map of species evolution points. This one is the most critical thing. This evolutionary point and figure chart is presented in the form of a pyramid. At the bottom level, there are nearly 100 kinds of creatures, but if each one is swallowed, the number of evolution points obtained is less than a little. The second level is within 10 o'clock, and there are more than 80 kinds of creatures. Within 100 points on the 3rd level. Within 1,000 points on the 4th floor. Within 2,000 points on the 5th floor. According to this division map, Yibei discovered that there are as many as 21 species classifications. The first one is humans, and the number of special ones has increased directly from the previous 5,000 evolution points. Became 10,000 evolution points. The most points gained by devouring humans? This is undoubtedly the answer this evolution map gave Yibei. However, besides that, Yibei still has a lot of doubts, because at the top of this species pyramid, there is a big question mark hanging unexpectedly. System. What does this question mark mean? With curiosity, Yibei took the initiative to ask. According to the currently known creatures, humans are indeed at the top. But in this world, there are also some creatures that surpass humans. If they swallow them, they will get more rewards and points. This category is unknown. It needs the host to discover it slowly. In addition, This evolution point pyramid is not complete. Outside the Earth, there are also countless unknown creatures. The system quickly replied. Okay. Hearing this, Yi Bei's body trembled. Beyond the Earth, there are unknown creatures. At the same time, there are some creatures in this world that can easily surpass humans. These are two huge messages revealed by the system. But Yi Bei quickly buried these questions in his mind. There are more than 6 billion humans in the world. At least now they are all standing at the top. This is the best resource for my evolutionary point increase. Yi Bei muttered to himself, his voice cold. There is chill in his eyes. As a blood python, he has deeply realized the gap between himself and humans. Unconsciously, he has already regarded human beings as his priority food for rapid evolution. Yi Bei didn't even notice this change at this moment. While Yi Bei was excited, the voice of the system came again. System evolution is complete. The host strength judgment mechanism is detailed. The ranking of biological evolution points is detailed. In the future, when the host sees any creature, it can determine its level at the first time and get the evolution points, except for unknown creatures. Split system controllability. Under the number of inherent apostles, the system can give the host 8 control places. The object of control is any creature. As long as it is on this earth, you can get in touch with these creatures at any time and force their control behavior. This is the improvement that the system gets after the automatic evolution. The improvement in 3 aspects is absolutely awesome. Especially the last one can control any creature as long as it is on this earth. From this point of view, human beings can be controlled by Yi Bei at will. What else is it more than this? But when the voice of the system fell, Yi Bei didn't really intend to control humans. There are more than 6 billion people in the world, standing at the forefront of evolutionary points. Their existence is all the best way for Yi Bei to gain points. It doesn't make much sense to control them. The system, the controlled object, is just control. The system's ability to split should also allow the controlled creature to evolve, right? Yi Bei asked seriously. Yes, but in order to protect the Overlord's absolute strength, as long as the Overlord is willing, he can be controlled to death at any time. The system is very thoughtful. Then I know, first control the 4 blood pythons, Chunhua Choyue, and the pleasure-seeking, and give them the power to evolve? Yi Bei said decisively. There are so many humans. It is impossible for me to fight alone all the time. With the help of 8 pythons that can evolve, and then think of ways to expand the snake population, this is the most effective way. Yes, host. The system returns to. On the other side, in the bushes, as the sound of the system fell, the 8 blood pythons named by Yi Bei could only feel a hot breath coming out of their bodies, and when they entangled on the ground, their bodies actually started. The speed visible to the naked eye has increased. The ordinary blood pythons around were stunned by this sudden change, and Yi Bei quickly picked up the Alec Island drawing and quickly returned. However, what Yi Bei didn't expect was that when he returned to the direction of the snake group, a signal base station was placed on a relatively high rock on the edge of the island, and waves of radio waves were quickly launched from it. In the early morning, when the first rays of sunlight fell on the island, the dark forest slowly became brighter. Deep in the forest, under a huge tree, only a few huge camouflage cloth wraps were left. There are a lot of blood stains on it. Just by looking at it, I knew that a tragic murder had happened here. 80. Inside one of the backpacks, a small signal transmitter was constantly beating with red light, making a faint beep sound. This signal is combined with the base station on the stone on the edge of the island, and it is quickly launched towards the outside of the island. And on a stone-covered clearing surrounded by forest snakes and bushes. All are different scenes. Here are all oversized stones. On each stone, there are holes of different sizes. In these holes, there are a large number of blood pythons that meet in red and black, with scarlet letters constantly spitting out in their mouths. Let the surrounding air be filled with the chill of killing. In the middle of the field, there were 9 blood pythons entrenched. Of the 9 blood pythons, 8 more are surrounding one of them. At this moment, something very magical was surging in Yi Bei's mind. Fear, awe, excitement, and complete surrender willingly. Yi-Bei, who was entrenched in the middle, only slightly squinted his eyes, and with a slight movement of the thoughts in his head, he could feel the above thoughts of the 8 snakes around him. After evolution, they have now reached 4 meters and 5 meters. These changes were witnessed by hundreds of snakes in the blood python group. King, thank you for giving us strength. King, King. About 3 minutes later, the silence was broken. The 8 blood pythons opened their eyes wide, but they lowered their heads one after another. The scarlet letters spit out, with awe and surrender voices, and quickly came from their mouths. Send it out. How do you feel? The changes of the 8 blood pythons left Yi-Bei quite satisfied. With their words, you don't need to go out to hunt prey in the future. Find a place, wait quietly for enough food, and then evolve. I feel full of power. It's amazing. I can grow stronger just by eating some ordinary creatures. It's so refreshing. This feeling is the first time I have. It's completely reborn. Even a huge rock can be easily smashed to pieces. Master, you are a god. The 8 blood pythons answered immediately. Very good. Yi-Bei nodded in satisfaction, and then a cold light flashed in his eyes. Since you have become so powerful, it's time to show your role. From now on, you will be divided into 8 teams, each with each other. The snakes hunted large creatures in the forest for 3 hours to see who hunted the most. After the hunt, all the creatures will be sent to me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The 8 blood pythons did not have any comments and replied in unison. Whoosh whoosh. In the next moment, under the leadership of the 8 blood pythons, the blood pythons that were originally entrenched on the stone were divided into 8 teams at the fastest speed. The body moved quickly on the ground, making a whistling sound. In less than 10 seconds, except for Yi-Bei, all the blood pythons disappeared. As for Yi-Bei, he was entrenched on the ground, patiently waiting for the blood pythons to return with food. With the passage of time, the group of blood pythons that had just disappeared began to gradually return, and the number of prey by Yi-Bei's side continued to increase. 3 hours passed in a flash. Wong, we are back. Wong, this is the creature we hunted. The 8 blood pythons have a very strong time concept. With these sounds, Yi-Bei slowly opened his eyes. When he saw the large number of creatures piled up around his body, his excitement spread wildly. It's awesome. So many prey. These are definitely 25,000 points. As long as they are all swallowed, the 4th stage of evolution of the blood python can be completed. At that time, how strong will I become? Yi-Bei was overjoyed after seeing the mountain-like creatures around him. Very good. You all step aside. After dropping this sentence. Next, Yi-Bei was unceremonious. His mouth opened wide, and the scarlet and beyond the letters spit out, and the creatures piled up around him were swallowed one by one. The voice of the system constantly resounded in Yi-Bei's mind. Congratulations to the host for successfully devouring a rabbit and gaining 1 evolution point. Congratulations to the host for successfully devouring a wild wolf and gaining 100 evolution points. Congratulations to the host for successfully devouring a giant lion and gaining 2,000 evolution points. As Yi-Bei continues to devour, the evolution points are also rushed. After half an hour, all the creatures that the blood pythons had taken 3 hours to transport were completely swallowed by Yi-Bei. Chunhua Qiyu, looking for joy, quietly watching. In addition to the awe in the eyes, there was also more shock. After the mountain of creatures were eaten by Yi-Bei, their stomachs did not grow at all. Moreover, they could clearly feel that the aura on Yi-Bei's body was still increasing wildly. As for Yi-Bei himself, sure enough, he made no mistakes in his calculations. After all these creatures were swallowed, the evolution points successfully reached 100,000. Occupying in the middle of the group of snakes, there are 8 controlled blood pythons guarding. Yi-Bei Anshin began to complete the 4th stage of evolution of the blood python. Hot energy ran wildly in the body. The 5-meter-long body unexpectedly began to grow again. The overall thickness of the body is also changing at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, At the same time that eBay began the fourth stage of evolution, a large number of attacking creatures were quietly gathering around the blood python group. The previous wanton hunting of snakes directly exploded the resistance of those creatures. The time is about 9 o'clock in the morning. The dazzling sun rises from the east, the soft light passes through the gaps between the leaves, and when it falls on the island forest floor, it seems to be the most perfect art in the world. Only today, this forest has become different. Wow! In the depths of the forest, different kinds of beasts gather. Wild wolf, lion, tiger, leopard, wild boar. If it is normal, they will meet together. It will definitely be a life and death struggle. But today, the atmosphere is completely different. These beasts are gathered together and watched by the leader. They don't mean to fight each other at all. Instead, they all focus on the direction of the bush where the snakes are, and killing intent. Ho ho ho. Ouch. Hoo. All kinds of crazy voices kept coming out of their mouths, and began to cautiously advance toward the bushes. On the other side, about 500 nautical miles away from the island, a foreign man sitting in front of the computer in the main control room turned pale instantly, and his body trembled violently for more than 10 seconds. His mouth began to burst into exclamation. Oh, selling karma, how is this possible? Alec, Ella, Jonah, all dead? What is that creature? Anaconda. The voice was loud, and after 3 consecutive screams broke out, many people in the base were alarmed and rushed towards the main control room. And in front of the foreign man's computer, a distress signal and a vague video are constantly being broadcast. The content of the signal is like this. Everyone at the mercenary base, if you receive this signal, it will prove that we were killed. This island is extremely dangerous. Please take revenge for us. In addition to this signal, the focus is on the blurred video. These videos are not known under what circumstances were filmed, nor how they were disseminated. In the video, in the dark night, the sound of scoffing came out, and then, a huge monster with bright eyes swallowed a mercenary in one bite. Ah! A screaming scream. It keeps coming out of the computer. This scene was repeated 5 times. All 5 mercenaries lost their lives. Across the screen, the man in the main control room felt great fear and blood. Wow. However, the scene in the computer simply did not allow this man to think too much. In the next moment, a large number of mercenaries in camouflage uniforms rushed in. What's going on? Something? What happened? Are they Jonah? The sound is a little messy. Until 10 minutes later, in the mercenary base, a well-decorated conference room. An actually majestic man, sitting on the main seat, with 5 men sitting on either side. Everyone exudes a cold breath. This kind of aura can only be manifested in the body only by killing a lot of people. And behind the conference room, there is a huge projection screen. The scene shown above is exactly the scene that was broadcast on the computer in the main control room. In the conference room, the atmosphere freezes and everyone's eyes are on the screen. Until the man on the main seat spoke. There is a very important news to tell you. As you can see, this is a disaster. Yes, our mercenary organization sacrificed 5 elites just 6 hours ago. On an isolated island, perform a laboratory mission. I think everyone here knows that island. Who can tell me? What should we do next? The man's voice resounded in the meeting room. But at this moment, there was no sound except for the miserable screams and the sound of help coming from the projector. Everyone's eyes widened, and their complexion turned purple. More than 10 seconds passed. One of them took the initiative to speak. I don't know if you have noticed. The monster that killed our mercenary is very huge, and it also made some strange noises. The most important thing is that our people were killed without any resistance. It's impossible. Everyone is equipped with a lot of weapons when performing tasks. From this video, you can tell us some facts. The sound of the monster is likely to affect human nerves and make people lose resistance, power, and extremely offensive. Now, I think we have 3 options. First, stay away from the island, as this has never happened, and sell this video to the country. I think those scientists and politics families will have enough interest in that island. Second, Send more people to find out the monster. Let it be used by us. Third, directly launch heavy weapons to destroy the entire island. Anyway, that it is an uninhabited island. Even if it is destroyed, it will not cause any waves in the world. The person who said this was a white man with a serious killing intent in his eyes. To be honest, he was looking forward to the third option. Destroy the island directly and avenge the people under his hands. As for what the monster was, he didn't care at all. I have no opinion. I agree with this proposal. In fact, these three plans are good. After someone took the lead, others followed suit. Without exception, everyone's eyes are killing intent and greed. The monsters on the island must either die or use them for their own purposes. This is a consensus. However, just as the conclusion was about to come out, the imposing man in the main seat spoke again. Cold eyes. There is still a faint smile on his face. Obviously, he had already thought of the best answer. Before the meeting, I also received another news. Our mercenary team found a group of Chinese people on vacation in the sea, and they have all fainted them with coma gas. Do you know if you have thought about it? Maybe. We can send these Chinese people to the island. In different tone. In the meeting room, the eyes of other people suddenly lit up. In the forest, the dazzling sunlight penetrates the gaps of the leaves and is scattered everywhere. Zzz. A large number of creatures began to move in the direction of the bushes. Because of too much proficiency, stepping on the decaying leaves kept making sizzling noises. Bushes, where the snakes are. Under the guardianship of the 8 blood pythons, Yibei was still undergoing the 4th stage of evolution. Entangled on the ground. On the huge body, the situation of molting and growing new skin was repeated, and then continued to fade. And every time you shed your skin, the length of your body will increase a lot, and the red and black textures on your body have become more refined. This time evolution, although no genetic changes have been made, from the current situation judging from it, Yibei's finishing power has increased more than tenfold since he was a child. Chi. Evolution continues. There were hundreds of snakes in the python group. All their eyes were on Yibei's body. Seeing their king, the aura emanating from his body became stronger and stronger, and these snakes finally began to spit out the letter. The sneered voice continued. But the sound is very small. If translated, it is probably like this. That's amazing. Is this evolving? The body has grown up again. This is our king. Compared to the previous snake king, it is not much stronger. 6 meters. My God. Has the limit of our blood python been completely broken like this? This is the longest and most powerful python I have ever seen. None of them. Just after these sounds spread among the snakes, the 8 guard blood pythons entrenched around Yibei's body stared at almost the same moment, and their body exuded a terrifying chill. Those ordinary blood pythons didn't notice it. But they are 8 different. After staged evolution, their sensitivity has increased several times. It looks like something is in trouble. I felt a very powerful killing intent. Me too. It's from around, like a herd of animals. Are those looking for death? The king is truly evolving. Never let any creature disturb him. Anyone who dares to come over will be killed. 8 blood pythons said one after another, the killing intent on their bodies surging instantly. Chi. Immediately afterwards, they each sent news of the upcoming war to the snake group under their management. The group of snakes entrenched in the stone spread out in an orderly manner. In less than 10 seconds, the group of snakes surrounded Yibei in the middle to protect them, and their eyes were all around. With their mouths open and mouth wide open, the letter continued to spit out, and the posture of war was put to the fullest. Keep it for me. Any creature that dares to disturb the evolution of our king will kill them all. Any enemies who dare to come over, kill them all. Their bodies are preserved intact, and prepare enough food for our king to wake up, ready to go to war. Even if you die, everyone will keep me on guard. Anyone who shrinks will be killed without mercy. Manhwa Ch, 8 blood pythons for pleasure and joy directly gave the death order. Chi. Suddenly, Killing intent boiled among the bushes and snakes. The icy breath gathered in the growing river and rushed towards the surroundings frantically. And the surrounding beasts naturally felt this kind of aura, but they came today to kill the blood pythons, so naturally they wouldn't be persuaded. Oh, ho ho ho. The beasts, who had been very cautious in their steps, felt the cold killing intent emanating from the blood pythons, and immediately knew that they had been discovered by the blood pythons. This time, not only did not let them back down, instead, it makes them more determined. A huge roar erupted from each of their mouths. The action became frantic in an instant, rushing towards the blood python group frantically. The number of the herd is in the thousands. And what about blood pythons? There are only less than 300 poor ones, all of which are spread on the ground. Wow. When the two parties collided with each other, a lot of lives began to disappear. Chi 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 chi. Ho ho ho. Oh. This was the early morning, and the soft sunlight had just been scattered in the forest, but the tragic slaughter made the entire forest full of blood. A lion directly bites a blood python that is no more than 2 meters long, and its sharp teeth easily tear the blood python from the middle to shreds. A blood python was stepped on by a wild boar, and his strength was taken away a little bit, but he didn't have the idea of giving up at all. Turning around, he wrapped the wild boar's nose in his mouth with one bite, making a huge bite when force appeared. All of the wild boar's face was covered with blood. The battle between ordinary blood pythons and the herd was extremely fierce. But, Manhwa Q, seeking pleasure, these 8 blood pythons are completely different. After 3 stages of evolution, although they don't have the same fangs as Yi-Bei, but they can also be swallowed infinitely. Laugh. Click. Almost all the beasts that approached them were swallowed alive at the fastest speed. These 8 blood pythons kept guarding around Yi-Bei's body. If they are busy devouring creatures, if there are other beasts who want to get close to Yi-Bei, they will just wave their bodies directly, borrowing huge power, and shoot those beasts directly into the air with a bang. The impact on their bodies was tremendous. Their muscles were torn, and all their bodies were covered with thick blood stains. 10 minutes. 20 minutes. There were originally more than 300 blood pythons. Almost all of them died in battle. On the ground, only fragments were left. Even Manhwa Ch, the 8 blood pythons for pleasure, were seriously injured. As for the herd, although the sacrifice was very large, it did not affect the seriousness. Hundreds of beasts surrounded Yi-Bei and 8 blood pythons. Killing intent is boiling. But just when they were about to rush up together and end the battle directly, Yi-Bei, who had been entrenched in the middle and hadn't moved before, finally slowly opened his eyes. Laugh. As if there was a cold light, it burst out from Yi-Bei's eyes with a snort. The moment I opened my eyes, all the beasts stopped. A breath of murder, frantically spreading around, deep in the forest. Countless beasts gathered together. Such a scene is definitely the first time that this island has happened since it appeared. However, under the crisis of survival, it is understandable that these beasts gathered together. Among the blood pythons, there appeared a king who could devour all living things. The impact was great. Wow. The blood is flowing horizontally. When passing some small ravines, there was still a clattering noise. Roar. Whoa. Call. The group of beasts who rushed the blood python group to pieces were startled by Yi-Bei, and then a fierce roar broke out again. King, these beasts are crazy. It's over. Our blood python group is completely finished today. What to do, King? Manhwa Ch, 8 blood pythons looking for pleasure. When they saw Yi-Bei regaining consciousness, ignoring the pain in his body, they all hissed. There were many wounds on the body, bloody, and they looked terrible. As for Yi-Bei, the moment he opened his eyes, he felt that the whole world had become different. First of all, is that the length of his body has increased to 7 meters, which is completely beyond the logical range. The diameter of the body is 40 centimeters, which is almost a bucket thick. The 2 sharp fangs of the mouth, long sticking out, the venom on it ticking and dropping to the ground. Chi. Once the venom falls on the ground, it will make a faintly corroding sound and a hint of white disgust. The length of those two teeth is even more terrifying, like ivory. In addition to these, the most changed is the power in the body. The fourth stage of the blood python is completed, and Yi-Bei feels that as long as he swings his body, he can shoot all the hundreds of beasts. Yes, just so confident. The strength, the body, and even the information panel have all changed greatly. However, Yi-Bei didn't have time to pay attention to those at the moment. The cold gaze swept across the scene with a single brush. The corpses of blood pythons on the ground, and the tragic spring flowers and autumn moons on their bodies, 8 blood pythons for fun. All around were staring beasts with murderous intent. My race, did you kill it? The lower body is entangled, 3 meters on the ground, the other 4 meters upright, plus that terrible diameter. Yi-Bei directly put a huge pressure on all the beasts. Of course, these are only second. The most important thing is, come here. All of the beasts actually understood Yi-Bei's words. These wild beasts besieged the blood python group. They are spontaneously grouped together. There is no universal language among the various beasts. It is more to rely on eye contact to judge and simple communication. But now, Yi-Bei spoke, and they found that they could fully understand what Yi-Bei meant. Roar. Are you the leader of the blood python? A lion roared, staring at Yi-Bei, with murderous intent in his eyes. Can't you tell? Yi-Bei tilted his head and replied coldly. The killing intent in his eyes was not concealed, because after his gaze fell on the lion, a large number of numbers jumped in his mind. Mutant Lion King, level 20 creature, swallow 1 head, get 9,000 mutation points. Blood Python King? Now your race is all over. Or go to death honestly. A leopard also roared. With these 2 beasts taking the lead, the surrounding beasts also howled after reacting. Damn anaconda! Dare to hunt and kill our people. There can be no blood pythons on this island. Very loud. It gathered into Yi-Bei's ears in pieces. But in the eyes of Manhwa Ch and the 8 blood pythons for pleasure, this is a completely different situation. After Yi-Bei screamed, the beasts around with red eyes looked like crazy, all make various calls. The huge sound, converging into a river, made the big trees in the forest sway. Wong, what shall we do? You go first. King, we hold on. We can definitely escape. As long as they are alive, these beasts will be our prey sooner or later. The 8 blood pythons really deserve to be controlled by Yi-Bei. At this time, it was a rhythm of loyal protection of the Lord. Hearing this voice, and then hearing those beasts, Yi-Bei already had a judgment. You are all waiting here. In addition, no matter how severely injured you are, you only need to devour the prey to evolve and recover. I think there are many remains of wild beasts beside this. You just start eating. Yi-Bei first coldly ordered the 8 blood pythons. Then, I looked at the beasts. To be honest, you came here and I was very surprised. I didn't expect that the beasts would gather together, but if they are here today, don't leave one. It just so happens that I still need a lot of food. Besides, I forgot to tell you that I am not only the king of blood pythons, but also the king of this island and this huge forest. Chi. When speaking, the letter continued to spit out. After listening to the 2 consecutive passages of Yi-Bei, the 8 blood pythons were stunned. But soon they reacted again, realizing that their king was going to be mad, and in order not to hold back in the waiting battle, they immediately swallowed the distance frantically. The closest prey to your body. Even a lot of torn blood pythons were swallowed all at once, extremely bloody. In this case, Yi-Bei did not hesitate to move after speaking. Roar. Open your mouth. The upper body was so fast as a shadow, it was obviously a snake, and it made a roar that seemed to tear the sky. Guru. In the next instant, the huge mouth swallowed the Lion King and the leopard directly, making a grunting sound. The surrounding beasts were stunned by Yi-Bei's aura for several seconds, but soon, they also rushed towards Yi-Bei desperately. Ho ho ho. Whoa. Wow. The scene was caught in a terrible battle again. But eBay was very excited in this battle. Congratulations to the host for successfully devouring a mutant Lion King and gaining 9,000 evolution points. Congratulations to the host for successfully swallowing a mutant leopard and gaining 8,500 evolution points. Congratulations to the host for successfully swallowing a mutant wild boar with giant horns and gaining 8,000 evolution points. The upgrade of the system, coupled with the rank division of the beasts. After devouring the beasts, the number of evolution points has also increased a lot. As the battle began, Yi Bei's head seemed to have only the beating numbers left. This feeling of bringing fresh and tender food and the opportunity to earn evolution points to the door is really good. Just when Yi Bei was excitedly devouring these beasts, several helicopters were flying towards the island in the distance of the sea and the horizon. Rumble. Wow. In the forest, the battle continues. The roar of countless beasts is constantly intertwined in it. Manhwa Ch, the 8 blood pythons named by Yi Bei, after devouring a large number of creatures, their bodies have recovered, and even their size has increased a lot, but at this time, they all entangle behind Yi Bei. There is no idea of playing against each other at all. It's amazing. Our king. It's crazy. We don't need to intervene at all. These beasts are all finished. The attacks of those beasts cannot cause any harm to our king at all. The skin is not scratched. When watching the battle, they kept making such noises in their mouths. Yes, Yi Bei, who has completed the 4th stage of the evolution of the blood python, is not his opponent at all. When the beasts rushed to Yi Bei desperately, wow! Yi Bei just opened his mouth like a bulldozer and swallowed a 7-meter-long blood python. After swallowing the creature, it can be digested immediately and turned into the purest energy. This is completely undefeated. Moreover, if such a fight continues, Yi Bei will only become stronger, and the number of those beasts will only decrease. It's a pity. The beasts, at this moment, didn't realize Yi Bei's true horror. Seeing a large number of comrades being swallowed, they rushed even more fiercely, as if they could hold Yi Bei's belly and stop him if they had enough of them, but they didn't realize it at all. Group tactics are so ridiculous to Yi Bei. 10 minutes. 20 minutes. Time is passing fast. In the next battle, there was basically nothing about the 8 blood pythons, and in their eyes, what they saw was completely a ghostly scene. Like, Yi Bei opened his mouth wide, and then, countless the beast went mad and jumped into Yi Bei's mouth. 30 minutes. At this moment, there were only less than 100 beasts in the densely packed beasts. In the battle just now, Yi Bei swallowed at least 1,000 heads. He didn't even spit out a single bone, but his belly didn't grow even a tiny bit. On the contrary, the length and diameter of his body increased a lot. At this moment, the living beasts finally realized that something was wrong. He didn't attack like before, but all stopped, and even started to back up slowly. Staring at Yi Bei, the expression in his eyes was full of anger. Ho ho ho. With his mouth open, there was a continuous low roar in his mouth. As for Yi Bei, after devouring so many beasts, there was a thick blood on his body. Seeing the living beasts retreating, he didn't chase them directly, but stayed in place, quietly entrenched, not moving at all. Laugh. However, this silence only lasted less than 2 seconds. Immediately afterwards, the scarlet letters spit out from Yi Bei's mouth, and the sneered voice resounded in the forest. The 8 blood pythons who had been stunned by the side were startled when they heard this sound, and then a terrible killing intent quickly emerged from their bodies. Yes, Yi Bei spoke to these 8 blood pythons just now. I'll give you all these beasts. The amount I have devoured is enough. You just have to divide them equally. This is Yi Bei's voice. Without the slightest feeling, full of indifference, these beasts are all just evolution points in his consciousness. Wow. Chunhua Q, the 8 pythons for pleasure-seeking did not hesitate at all. After their bodies recovered, the next second, they rushed madly towards the remaining herd. All of the more than 100 beasts that were still alive understood what Yi Bei meant. At this time, Their previous ferocious aura was completely gone. At the beginning, thousands of beasts all died, which gave them an unprecedented shock. After seeing the 8 pythons rushing, their first reaction was to turn around and retreat. Suddenly, the entire forest power was full of misery, calling and chasing sounds. Seeing the beasts running away, 8 blood pythons chased after him. Bei was entrenched on the ground, enjoying the majestic power in his body after the evolution was completed, and at the same time watching the latest information panel given to him by the system. Infinite Evolution System. Name: Bei. Primary species: blood python. Age: under 1 year old. Because of evolution, it has a size and strength several times that of an adult python. Lifespan: 100 years. The 5th stage of blood python evolution points: 310000/1000000. The 5th stage is the ultimate stage. After completion, it will be upgraded. Level: LV1. After leveling up, genes can be changed to move towards a higher level of snake-like species. Language: snake language, regional animal language. Ability: fangs. Apostle: 1. Territory: centered on the base of the snake group, a radius of 10 kilometers. Length: 7.5 meters. Average body diameter: 35 cm. Body resistance to stress: level 3. Can withstand sharp blade attacks, and the skin can resist the impact of ordinary firearms bullets. Speed: 10s/section. Strength: 5t. It can easily lift the weight of 5t. Task: evolve into a Titan python and transform the entire island into the newest territory. This is Bei's latest information. Bei noticed that several changes have taken place on this. The first is life, which has changed directly from 50 years to 100 years. This kind of change, to be honest, made Bei's heart ecstatic. This is the completion of the 4th stage. If you continue to evolve, you can imagine that the lifespan will increase dramatically. Infinitely swallowed. Then, his lifespan will also become infinite. That is eternal life. I'm a little excited thinking about it. Of course, the more important thing is yet to come. Looking at the information, Bei himself was shaking with excitement. Roar. Chi 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 chi. In the forest, the previous ferocious beasts screamed and screamed constantly under the hunting of the 8 boa constrictors in Chengdu. But Bei is motionless. Staring at the latest information about myself, I got a little excited. Among these messages, there is one that is most critical. According to the record on this information, as long as Bei completes the 5th stage of evolution, he can ask the blood python's genes to evolve into the legendary Titan python. At that time, the body length will exceed the limit, reaching more than 10 meters. 10 meters. I'm excited to think about it. Although the demand for evolution points has reached 1 million, but after swallowing more than 1,000 high-level beasts, he has gained more than 310,000 evolution points. From this point, Bei can see that just need to hunt on this island for a period of time. Without stepping out of here, he can evolve into a Titan python, and after becoming a Titan python, his own strength will definitely get promoted again. Bei began to look forward to it. But soon, Bei suddenly realized that there was more information about his territory in his mind. This information quickly turned Bei's attention away. While receiving the information about the territory, Bei also quickly found out the island blueprint he found on Alec's side and looked at it seriously. The reason is simple. If you want to better control your territory, you must first figure out the situation on the island. After being brought into the sky by the eagle before, Bei didn't even look at the entire island. He was quite curious about this. Drawing. It is a square piece of parchment, but the text on it is all modern craftsmanship. At the top, a title is written in large English. Fortunately, Bei's academic qualifications were very high before, and it was not difficult for him to speak English. A deserted experimental island in the Atlantic Ocean. This is the name of this island. Bei immediately thought about this name in his mind, and found that he had never heard of it before, and the name was also very weird. Experimental island? Is it possible that this island is used for experiments? But Bei was even more surprised. The island area is 640 square kilometers. In other words, the diameter is at least 80 kilometers. 1 kilometer per kilometer, 80 kilometers is 800,000 meters. From this point of view, the island is very large. In addition, there are other places that attract Yibei's attention more. On this map, the entire island is obviously divided into 4 squares. Each square is painted with a different color, namely red, yellow, green, and white. Next to each color, there is a large paragraph of text explaining it. Red. The experimental island is absolutely forbidden. It is filled with a large number of mutant beasts. It has strong attack power and is full of strong hostility to humans. Even if you carry a lot of weapons, entering is a dead end and belongs to the forbidden zone of life. Yellow. Experimental island restricted area. A large number of mutant beasts, strong attack power, usually do not actively provoke. These beasts will not rashly attack humans. These beasts should be beasts tamed by humans during the previous experiment, and they have a certain affection for humans. Green. In the gathering area of ordinary beasts, there are very few mutant beasts as the leader, docile, weak, and ordinary weapons are enough to deal with. White. Variation plant growth area, various variation plants, and extremely threatening. After reading these notes, Yibei took a deep breath. Because through these contents, Yibei was able to clearly analyze several facts. First of all, this island is deserted, but there used to be a laboratory here that did experiments related to bioengineering, but the experiment failed, causing a large number of beasts and plants to be alienated. Because it was in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean, the island was directly abandoned. Let the creatures here fend for themselves. Secondly, the area where Yibei is currently located should only be a green area. The entire island is divided into 4 areas. There are a large number of mutant beasts in other areas. This is very good news. You must know the evolution of mutant beasts. There are so many points. Finally, on this big island, there are still mutated plants that can attack creatures. This is really rare. After thinking of this, Yibei spoke to the system decisively. System. According to what you said, as long as I swallow all the creatures on the entire island, I can evolve into a Titan python. This is the green area? The entire island is so big, so many mutant beasts, there must be more than 100. Evolve, what's going on? This is what Yibei wondered. Host, please understand what I mean. I mean to swallow all living things once and eat one of each type. But in the process of evolution, many creatures can be swallowed repeatedly. According to the current speed of the host, it is estimated that the green area only needs to swallow 2/3 to complete the evolution of the Titan python. The system answered quite simply. After listening to the system's answer, Yibei was taken aback. Then I was ecstatic. This system even started playing word games. But I have to say, this is really good news. Green is just a very low-level piece of this experimental island. Other regional resources are definitely more abundant. Okay, I see. Yibei nodded. Then directly used the sharp fang venom at the corner of the mouth to corrode the sheepskin drawing. As for the above content, it is naturally kept in his mind. Okay, system. Let's talk about the domain. Centered on where I am now, with a radius of 5 kilometers, it seems to cover the entire green area. What can I do in my domain? Yibei continued to ask. Okay, it's just that this voice just fell, and Yibei's body was stunned. After the domain was opened, at this moment, he could clearly see that 4 helicopters appeared in the sky not far from here. They were about to land on this island. Humanity? Wow. The sound of helicopter propellers kept emitting. That huge sound made many living beasts scurry around in the forest. As for Yibei, the perception of these 4 helicopters is extremely clear. Territory. Within the scope of my territory, all the wind and grass can't be hidden from me. It's like all places have eyes that belong to me. This is really a good thing, Yibei said in his mouth. But after looking at the situation inside the helicopter, his body directly began to tremble crazily. This kind of tremor has never happened since he was reborn as a blood python. How is this possible? Are they here? Is it here to save me? Great, they didn't even die. Incredible. While his body was trembling, Yi-Bei's mouth even more unconsciously said something like this, and the whole person seemed to be possessed. The reason is simple. In these 4 helicopters, with the exception of a pilot and a mercenary in camouflage uniforms, there were 4 people lying in the cabin. If the 4 helicopters add up, it would be 16 humans. Yi-Bei's body trembled. It's definitely not because every human being represents 10,000 evolution points, but because he knew all these 16 human beings, and even his memory was extremely deep. Chen Changsong, Wang Shengyun, Wang Shuo, Wang Dongdong, Zhao Heng, Li Yu. Through the ability of the domain, after seeing these familiar faces before rebirth, this kind of impact can be said to be unprecedented. The body was entrenched in place, not moving. In Manhwa Ch, the 8 blood pythons swallowed and strangled all the escaped beasts. At this moment, they all returned to Yi-Bei, but they found that Yi-Bei was tilting his head and looking into the sky, his body trembling. Other than that, everything it was as if they were frozen. They didn't dare to make any sound at all. I was just curious about what his king was doing, and he looked into the distance just like Yi-Bei did. Such a scene is extremely strange. After Yi-Bei focused on the helicopters, the advantages of the territory were also reflected. He could also clearly hear the conversations of the pilots inside. Pay attention to landing. There is a beach ahead. After landing, put people down, leave food and resources, and then retreat immediately. Attention everyone. Do not have any contact with the creatures inside, and it is best not to get off the plane. Quick, quick. The drivers are very nervous. Qin Song and others were still lying in the plane, all showing signs of coma. Looking into the distance, watching those familiar faces, Yi-Bei's breathing gradually became rushed. After a long time, he moved. What are they doing on the island? Food, resources, and armed men? At the beginning, Yi-Bei felt that those people might have come to search and rescue himself, but after looking at the situation for a while, he immediately realized that the truth of the matter was definitely not that simple. Wang? What happened? The blood pythons are gone, Wang. What should we do next? Those beasts have all been killed. Seeing Yi-Bei talking, the 8 blood pythons next to him immediately reacted, and then these sounds came out. After hearing these voices, Yi-Bei moved his thoughts away from the helicopter. Although the humans inside were all he knew before, no matter what, he was just a python now. The racial gap is destined to be no longer the same as before. Now that they have come to the island, find a chance to meet. As for other things, don't think about it for now. Yi-Bei's heart secretly made up his mind. Then, his gaze fell on the 8 blood pythons, and the hot gaze just now returned to coldness. Chi-Chi. The scarlet letter spit out. If the blood pythons are gone, they are gone. As long as we are here, we can expand to more powerful pythons in the future. The next step is to swallow the entire island and all the beasts. When we evolve enough after becoming stronger, let the island only have blood pythons. Yi-Bei's voice was cold. But after saying this, the 8 blood pythons next to him were immediately excited to the extreme. Only blood pythons remain in the entire island. All the beasts are swallowed. Just thinking about these is enough to get excited. The 8 blood pythons have even thought of how powerful and terrifying the island will grow when the entire island becomes a group of blood pythons. Yes, King. Eat all the beasts. Take the entire island. The King's will is our mission. After the evolution of these 8 blood pythons, their wisdom has also increased a lot, and they even started to flatter Yi-Bei one by one. Don't talk about these nonsense. With this place as the center, within a radius of 5 kilometers, you can move freely. If you find a beast, you can just swallow it. I'll do something now. After Yi-Bei finished speaking, he stopped paying attention to these pythons, and his body immediately moved. Zzz. The huge body was crushed on the rotting leaves on the ground, and the sound continued. After the 8 blood pythons got the latest order from Yi-Bei, they didn't dare to be verbose, and they scattered immediately. After all, To devour creatures and evolve quickly, it is also a great thing for them. ZZZ. After slaughtering a large number of beasts in the forest, Yi-Bei moved very fast along the way. After all, no beast dared to make trouble. In less than 5 minutes, Yi-Bei had already reached the edge of the green area, and 4 helicopters had just stopped on the beach. Wow! The sound of the propeller was very loud, but when the helicopter stopped on the beach, the sound became much smaller. But the rotation of the propeller did not stop.
Fast.
Bring everyone down. It was ordered above. Be sure to check the hidden cameras on them and make sure they won't be lost. Food and survival resources are also thrown away, but you can't just die. The mercenaries in camouflage uniforms moved very fast. With the walkie-talkie in his hand, the voice kept coming. As for Yi-Bei, when he came to the edge, he did not directly rush out, but hid all his aura. The huge group of gods was wrapped around the giant tree for a moment, his head was raised, and he did not have the ability to use the territory. Instead, look at the situation with the naked eye. 1 person, 2 people, 16 people. Among them, 10 men, 6 women. In just 5 minutes, everyone was lifted down, and a large amount of food resources and survival tools were also placed on the ground. Wow! After finishing this, the 4 helicopters did not make any stops at all and flew away at the fastest speed. It's really them. Yi-Bei, who was hiding in the dark, looked at the 16 people who were unconscious on the beach. Yi-Bei's mood was extremely complicated. See you or not? This is really a esoteric question. However, when Yi-Bei was tangled, a person on the beach was the first to make a move. That was Wang Dong. Previously, a leader in his company was in a very good position. He was a manager. He was over 1.85 meters tall. He was very big and full of flesh. After seeing Wang Dong moving, Yi-Bei, who was going to communicate with these people, stopped his movements and began to observe quietly. Ouch! Where is this? Aren't we traveling on a cruise ship? How come here? When I opened my eyes, I saw an unfamiliar island with a lot of food around, plus a large group of people in a coma next to him, which made Wang Dong's body begin to tremble unconsciously after saying this. Inside, it was all fear and shock. At this time, Yi-Bei wanted to go there, but in the end he forcibly held back because Yi-Bei discovered that when Wang Dong woke up, a silver envelope fell out of his jacket pocket. Okay. Yi-Bei was a little confused about what the envelope was. The next second, he opened the domain. As long as he focused, he could see the contents of the letter clearly. Only after reading it, an unprecedented anger rushed to his head. The content of the letter is very simple. Probably this is the meaning. When you open this letter and the people around you are still asleep, then first congratulate you. You have the priority to choose the resources and tools next to you. This is of vital importance to the quality of your next life. In addition, you guys have all been selected. The 16 of you will play a 1-month survival game on this deserted island. 1 month later, we will have a helicopter that will pick up the alive and leave. Yes, you must remember. Have you found a small camera on your chest? It is used to record some pictures on the island and to locate your location. Don't lose it, otherwise 100% die. Alright, guys, good luck. The content of the letter is roughly the same. The reason for Yi-Bei's anger was that his group of friends were kidnapped to this deserted island, and they were still playing this crazy survival game. The reason for anger. It shows that Yi-Bei still maintains a certain humanity now. What should I do? Help them through a month and then send them away? But obviously, things are not that simple. It always feels very strange. Yi-Bei spit out the scarlet letter and muttered constantly in his mouth. Intellectually, he wanted to help these old friends, but the surprises between the races made his sanity slowly dissipating. However, just as Yi-Bei was constantly thinking, a very abrupt voice suddenly came. Ha 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 ha. Loud laughter, with a bit of unprecedented madness. Yi-Bei's body was startled, and he looked around. The person who made this kind of laughter turned out to be Wang Dong, who had just awakened. What is he doing? Being sent to a desert island to carry out such a terrible experiment can still laugh. which made Yi quite surprised. Just when Yi was puzzled, Wang Dong's voice came again. Ha ha ha, great. Survival on a deserted island. Now I am the first to wake up, so all the resources here are mine. Liu, Dong, all these tall women on weekdays, I have to take all in this month. I have cultivated into sexual women. As for these men, hee, being a dog is also good. It happens that they know the truth about the idiot Yi accident last time, and they have resolved it all at once. This is really a godsend opportunity. Wang Dong's laughter was crazy, and it was hysterical. However, when I heard these words in Yi's ears, they all had another taste. Wang Dong, this person whom he had always trusted before, shouted his name directly and cursed an idiot. The truth about what happened. These two key points made Yi's body tremble fiercely. Could it be? It wasn't an accident that the helicopter he was riding in had an accident? Is it a conspiracy from beginning to end? Wow. When it trembled, the entangled giant tree shook along with it, and the leaves on it collided with each other, and the sound of crashing continued. Who? Wang Dong, who couldn't stop laughing, was immediately full of vigilance after hearing that voice. His gaze turned towards where Yi was located. Then, the eyes were almost staring out.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.